there's a lot of confusion, especially in the SaaS industry, regarding terms like velocity, speed, effectiveness, efficacy. And I don't think I'm the only one who's not understanding that much in the last, let's see, 3 to 4 months. So this is why I wanted to catch up with a friend to ask him a few questions about velocity in GTM and why velocity wins in the new GTM era. So I'm happy to welcome on the show Omar Fogliadini. Ciao, Omar.
Hey, Tobia. How are you doing?
Always fine and trying to, understand a little bit about what's going on in the GTM world. And as I said at the beginning, velocity, speed, no one is understanding anything else. So just for the sake of, clarity, if you can say a little bit of words about you, your experience, what you do, and especially your global footprint, because we're both Italians, we both work and cover the Italian market, but you support clients globally, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I got many ads. So I've been working with high tech growth company for the last 15, 20 years. So I've been working globally. Now I spend half of my time working with mid market SaaS tech or service company in the United States. Typically, they are private equity based, and I'm reallocating my effort towards the US because there, let's say that there is another velocity, okay? There is another speed for the market. But I've still some interest around here, Europe, Dubai. But let's make long story short. I've started as, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I founded probably 15 companies. I got a couple of IPOs. I made a lot of mistakes, so I lost a lot of money, but I learned a lot. And I work on, I'd say, at the crossroad of GTM and technology. So I've been into AI since 2016. So I've not started in 2023 like 99% of people or LinkedIn influencers. And I have always tried to use digital and technology as an enabler for real world processes, challenges, and and when you talk about velocity or speed, I think that everyone knows that speed can be a competitive advantage. But in reality, I don't think that it's about speed or velocity as a competitive advantage. I think that if you got speed and velocity, you can build a competitive advantage, which is different. But up to you.
And thank you for this answer, for this introduction. Just another question about your experience, because you founded multiple companies, but now you have Life Data X. What is the main purpose of Life Data X? How do you support companies? What kind of services do you offer, and so on?
So, being a small or a micro entrepreneur, you got a lot of challenges. You need to do everything, and that's very different if you are 0 to 1 or 1 to 10 million or even more, right? So you got challenges in terms of product, you got challenges in terms of marketing and go to market. At the end of the day, you are always selling, and especially if you work in tech, in SaaS, or let's say in high growth services, there is a moment where you think that you need to create some value out of your company, right? And the problem that I face, and I think that 99% of small business are facing, is that you have not built your business to sell it. And when you want to sell your business, it is too late because you need to reorganize everything for an exit. So, what I'm doing now is that I'm trying to apply the financial engineering and the process engineering that I have learned on my skin, with scars on my skin. I'm trying to apply 20, 25 years of experience, global experience, And I'm trying to communicate and to educate as much as possible, because I see that what I did already, it's very new for a lot of other people. And I think that the more we share, the easier will be to avoid errors that are very painful. So I did them already a lot of time. And what I'm doing now is that when you look at GTM, doesn't matter what kind of GTM, uh, there are a lot of inefficiencies. So every company has a lot of inefficiency. At the end of the day, this is lost revenue. So I start from there. I created a scientific approach because I got about 300, probably more B2B engagement. So I got data supporting my initial theory, and I built algorithms, I built platforms, I built a system and a method, which is a kind of scientific framework that I apply in order to recover enterprise value in a very short period of time, typically in 90 days.
Thank you. And so basically, you support companies with your frameworks and theories and really building the enterprise value so they can sell them at the highest possible value on the market. So to have a really good exit, which maps and represents the value of the company. So now let's go to the main question. So the reason why I reached out to you, because I was, scrolling my LinkedIn feed and I saw a post of Jaco, Winning by Design, who was actually quoting you. I said, oh, Omar is on Jaco's feed. And actually, just to make it a little bit shorter for the audience, Jaco mentioned you in this post where he says that traditional growth strategies, as you were saying at the beginning, focused on more leads, more hires, more funding, and more tools, is not working anymore, especially in SaaS models, because AI companies are shifting the paradigm. And then he reposts yo, and this is what I really what caught my attention is in a bunch of words you really summarized your point in a clear way. So you basically say, yeah, you're right, you're correct, but traditional GTM playbooks are not feasible anymore. So the goal isn't to build more tools, but to productize speed, data, and outcomes. And then you dig a little bit more into, the AI native firms that are built for rapid execution from the start. They leverage systems, not just people, and they drive exponential growth. Then you touch another point that we will touch in another question, that is the shift to growth velocity that demands a new GTM mindset that prioritizes speed over size, outcome over activity. SaaS isn't dying, but the old playbook are pretty much dead. So let's dig into this. And let's start from your answer, especially from this point. As a B2B tech-enabled service company, Real Threat is not just AI native products, but the operating model behind them. What did you mean by that?
Well, at first, Jaco is a great professional. It's really inspiring me and a lot of other people.
This audio was created with Podcastle.ai.
He's a great professional. It's really inspiring me and a lot of other people. And, I read him, probably he's reading me. Oftentimes we got our exchanges, and that's an example where you exchange different point of view and you get to something that probably move things forward, right? So, about your question, to your point there, today everyone is talking about AI. Everything is changing so fast. But at the end of the day, I think that uh, everything can be boiled down to very simple concept. So the word is difficult, right? So, for instance, when you do GDM, most managers are very careful to CAC, cost of acquisition, and many other metrics and dynamics. But if you look at them, all those metrics are getting worse and worse, right? So I'm not saying that GTM is broken. I'm just saying that it's a new game. And because it's a new game, you need to think out of the box. You need to use different playbooks. So the world is difficult, and this is the new normal. I don't think that we will go back to how it was 2 years, 3 years ago. So you said, the main point is about the organizational model or not. Everyone is looking at AI today like a magic wand, right? You got something that is not working. I just wait, I will do that with AI because AI will do everything. But that's not the case, because AI won't fix a bad or broken GTM. So if you got a bad GTM today and you put AI on top of this, well, it will explode, because AI is just a multiplier. And so why back the organizational model? Because you can have different approaches. So Jaco is about the revenue architecture. I got a slightly different understanding because I prefer to approach the company of my tiers with a different framework. But still, at least you got a framework, you got principles, you got benchmarks, you got indexes. So you got something that is scientific. It's not rule of thumb. So if I go back to my experience, because I'm very hands-on, in my experience, we have been working with a couple of approaches. So the most common is that growth has always been human-led. You want revenue, you want growth, you are people. So more headcount, more revenue. Now, this can work. It was working, and it is still working for some industries. Not really where you want high growth, but it can work. And there is a simple, at the end of the day, the math is very simple. In such a case, you got a value creation ratio, which is about 1 to 1 3x. What does it mean? You invest 1, you can get back 1 or 3. You don't get more than 3 investing into new people, headcount, systems, etc. Now, the smart people started probably 18 months ago, or they are working now on a different growth model. The growth model is more system-led. So they rely on system and not purely on headcount. And this is good. It's a good stage, because you're going to replace heroic X, your best salesperson, your best talent, with players, let's say, I'd say at least 8 players, right? So it's a kind of teamwork where you got something that becomes predictable. So you get 8 players, science engineered system. The value creation ratio changes. You are not anymore 1, 1 to 3. You are 1, 3 to 7. So it's more productive. But that's not the end point, because now you need to put and you need to factor in velocity, AI, everything changing so fast. Just think about that. If you scroll your LinkedIn feed and you just clean up the noise, I would say that each 3 weeks you get a new model or AI breakthrough. 3 weeks, not 3 years, 3 weeks. Now, because of that, the end goal should be, but it's not possible for every company, it is getting to full stack AI, or what someone is calling AI native. That's a completely different game. So let me explain you. Everyone is thinking that AI is keeping your process, keeping what you do, using some AI tools. No, that's not full stack AI. Everyone will use AI. This is not making the difference. So when I say full stack AI, I mean that here growth comes from velocity multipliers. You got processes, you got loops, which are AI enabled in the right place at the right moment. And that means that you can become a company where one FTE has to build 1, 10, 100 millions revenue. So you understand that the value creation ratio is drastically different, because here the value creation ratio will be 1 to 7 to 12, while the human-led was 1 to 3. So you're talking about 4, 5x, which is not 40% more. It is 5 times what you were doing there. So that's about an organizational model. That's about building something that is scientific, that is based on framework, that has benchmark, but very similarly to what we did when we build factories. Because there was a scientific method, there were optimization controls, you were first plugging the leaks, so working on the inefficiencies. So what a lot of people is getting wrong is that they think that they will be moving from human-led to full stack AI just because they use AI. No, that's wrong. It's not going to happen. AI is not your product. AI is a utility. So you can use AI like electricity to light up your room, or you can use AI to run trains or a factory. It's completely different. So that's my point about the organizational model and where this is coming in. AI is a multiplier, but if you got a lot of stuff broken, you're just multiplying mess.
And thank you for the answer. So now I got why and how B2B companies can really compete with a more, let's say, efficient or effective, better effective operating model. But now I have a question for you that just came up in my mind. Do you think that because of these paradigm shift, new companies or newborn companies can have an advantage over the legacy ones?
It depends, it depends if you are sitting in the new company or the incumbent or in the buyer seat. They are three very different perspectives. So I prefer to look at the market always as a buyer, because at the end of the day, we are buyers, we are consumer, we are citizens, and maybe we are also on the other side of the table where we are the ones selling something. So I don't think that the noise will reduce. I think that the barrier at entry, they will be always getting lower, which means that we will have a lot more solutions struggling to stand out, which means that the noise will grow. And being able to, I would say, to detect what is good, the good signals into this noise will be.
This audio was created with podcastle.ai.
Good. The good signals into this noise will be very difficult. Then again, your point probably will fall down to distribution, because if you are a global large company, you can adopt strategies like OpenAI, where they are flooding the market with solution. So they burn money, they burn 1 billion a month, and they won't make a dime of profit before 2029, 2030, because they are global and they are driving trends and raising money. So you completely change the economics of your company, okay? So back to your point, I think that there will be a balance where we have all-in-one platforms and point solution, but point solution has to be very, very good for that specific vertical problem. Otherwise, they will struggle. So you will have the large incumbent, probably the top 10, 15 companies that we all know, that we all use, that even if they are not the best of breed, they have such a good, let's say, distribution and incentives for buyers that you just have to buy them.
Got it. And thank you for the answer. Now, going back to your post, that is one thing I really want to talk with you about. That is the playbook topic. Because that is a specific sentence where you say that GTM velocity and the value delivery compression is not compatible, is incompatible with old playbooks. Kind of provocative question. Why do you think that old playbooks are pretty much dead?
Well, when everything is changing so fast, you need to change your approach to the market. And probably you should start with different questions. So uh, when I work with founders or with private equity operating partners, they are still asking you, how many people do we need to hire? Which is a wrong question. Because if you want to grow, you are not thinking about people, right? Probably you need to think about what can we automate and scale today. It's a different question. So it's a different perspective. So um, most part of the playbooks that we have been used to, they are about chasing volume. You want more, push more. That doesn't work because today you need to grow with the right efficiency, with the right timing, with the right velocity. So it's a completely different approach. So, I mean, what I see, but it's my experience, then, if you work on different tiers of company, probably it will be different. I'm very much focused on knowledge heavy service companies. So this is probably my vibe, or tech companies that are real world. So if you work with this segment, it's very difficult taking the playbook of HubSpot or the Salesforce playbook and say, okay, I just do what Salesforce did 5 years ago and I will be getting the same result. It's not going to work at all. You will be burning a lot of money, and because everything is wrong because you are not Salesforce and the world has changed. So what I see today in terms of uh, playbook, and again, I try to make it this very simple. If your question is how fast can we grow, probably I would start saying which processes do you have which are repeatable without human intervention. I would start from there. Then once I got this kind of mental map of my company or strategic map, I will be starting thinking about how do I map demand intensity, because it's not just about the demand on the market. Today, you need to scan for signal strength because you got a lot of noise. So you need to work after the right signal strength in the right segment. Then probably I will be using systems that compound growth, because you cannot go linearly. You need to find a system that feed one the other, and you need to build some compounding approach. And into that, we go back to your first point. For sure, we need to productize speed, because you have a lot of experiments that you need to do in order to get your GTM alpha. Nobody has the perfect recipe. You need to do something, you need to adapt, you need to be fast to do that, because at the end of the day, it's the survival of the fittest.
And thank you for the answer. Now I just want to ask you another question based on your experience, okay? Let's say that you're consulting a company. You go into a company. What kind of signals make you understand that they're operating on outdated or old playbooks? What kind of behaviors do you see? What kind of metrics? Where do you put your attention on?
That's a complex question that I can give you 100 different answers, but let's stick to basics. If you think about B2B, has changed a lot, but there are still so many things that can be done better. So in B2B, you got a buyer, you got fewer buyers on the market. Those buyers are confused because everyone has AI today. They have seen everything. They have AI fatigue, right? So it's not about having AI that you got the best product on the market. That's not a differentiator, right? So, think about the typical process, because everything complex can be broken down into simple things, right? So let's do the buyer for 1 minute. Okay. I want to buy something. I need something for my company. That's not what I do for my business because I'm not a professional buyer. I do else during my day, right? So I will be searching for alternatives, probably on websites, on G2, on LinkedIn, wherever. Now, okay, I got 3, 5, 10 different potential solution. Okay, I try to get in touch with this company. Probably I go to the website, I read the website. There are no information about the product, no information about the price. So I need to sign up for a form. Okay, not a big deal. I sign up for a form and I get an automated email template. Perfect. I hope that I will get someone to tell me about this product. In reality, what is happening today in 2025? That in most part of the cases, okay, nobody will call you. You will be just waiting, probably sending another form, or maybe in the next couple of weeks, you get a response from someone, a very templated response. Hey, I am Joe Smith, sales development of company Acme, and I know that you want to say about this. We are the best one. Blah 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 blah. Blah. This is my Calendly. I say, what the fuck? I don't care about your Calendly. I want to know how much is your product, and if you do 1, 2, 3, okay. And let's say that here we are at step 1, and it's not so good. Okay, but okay. Let's say that we move to step 2. Typically, step 2, you get some cold calls by someone that in the worst moment ever. So you are in a board meeting and you got the cold calls. Oh, I'm John Smith. Oh, shit.
This audio was created with podcastle.ai.
Meeting and you got the cold calls. Oh, I'm John Smith. Oh, shit, it's not the moment. Okay, but let's say you get in touch with someone. And at the end of the day, you are able to get to speak with this Joe Smith. And you sit down, you speak with someone that knows nothing. You, the buyer, you know more than him. You raise him question and he will be telling you, we need to see, I need to ask to the product team, to my colleague, because this call is just about qualifying you. So wasting your time because you want to know if the company, the solution is what you need. And probably you need a price bracket, whatever, to understand if you can shortlist them. So, fun facts. Those calls typically have 5 out of 7 questions an answer. 5 out of 7, which means that any stupid, shitty AI will be doing better. Okay? So then you tell me, is that a symptom? Well, I don't think that if you want to buy a 20K or 200K solution, this is what you want to go through. And this is what is happening still in 70, 80% of companies. And if they just think about the buyer, they will understand that if you want to be top of mind to a buyer, you need to educate the buyer, you need to provide information, you need to be able to be transparent and reliable, and you need to enable the buyer to do the next step, because you won't force them with a gun. The buyer, it is true that they are in buying stage and probably they are actively looking for a solution, but they will be breathing without your solution. So you need to build all the condition to move them in their buying, let's say, maturity stage, which is not your CRM or sales stages. Because, buyers, they just don't give a fuck about your CRM stages.
And thank you for this clarification. Now, I think that you touched a few interesting points, especially the CRM one. And that one explains the disconnect that there is between us salespeople and our buyer, because we tend to qualify buyers or potential buyers and put them in a framework that doesn't fit to reality, but just answers our, let's say, reporting questions that we will answer to our manager. So that's a really good Good catch. Another question for you. Because you spoke more than once about this new totally scenario. Everything is changing fast. No one is understanding anything. In your view, what will define a successful B2B company in the next 2 years if we go back to the operating model in terms of, value qualifier for a company, especially when it comes to sales and GTM? What will be the, let's say, the kind of framework that everyone has to aim for?
Well, I don't say that nobody understand nothing. I say that there are so many nuanced view and so many experiments that a lot has to be tried, proved, changed, improved, and it's a continuous process. Now, I don't think that your question has only an answers. I think that in general, B2B is changing. Everyone is continuously thinking that B2B it's another beast versus B2C. In reality, they are kind of merging for different approaches, because you are a consumer with your iPhone, and at the same time you use your iPhone to respond to the contact form that we just said earlier, right? So the experience, the approach, the seamless. So if you remove friction, you help buyers. Doesn't matter if you are B2C or B2B. But in general, my point is pretty simple. I think that we are in a new game. There is a new way to play this game, which requires a different mindset. So, as you said earlier, there are a lot of things that could work better. It can be from marketing attribution or sales processes. So I'm not against marketing attribution. I'm not against Bent or any other model that we use in sales. I'm just saying that many assumptions. So when you sell in B2B, you work with many assumptions. If you were in a predictable linear world, maybe they will be working. But today, customers don't buy in funnel. GTM is completely non-linear and buyer-led, which means that your level of predictability is very low. And if you want to have a machine, a GTM system at least, you need to target predictability. You need to target incremental improvements. You need to target, you need to do experiments because everything is moving continuously, but then you need to make this experiment part of your toolbox and moving to the next experiment. So if you tell me what would be the solution, I think that there are many things to be done, but the first point is that you are not selling services, software, or solution. You are selling outcomes. So today you are selling the work, which means that the approach that you use in GTM, it has to be completely different. You should start from education in order to stay top of mind, and then you need to work downstream, creating all the condition for a buyer to come to you, because you need to create pull, and not just thinking about that pushing or brute forcing will increase your sales, because the buyer will go elsewhere. Then another point is that, I see that a lot in my companies or companies where I work to build value. Everyone has always been focused on new logos. So you push, you invest more, you get new logos. Okay, yeah, we go toast for new logos. Well, that's just part of the game. Because everything that was tech, SaaS, or services, it was based on an assumption that is not working anymore. The assumption was very simple. It's very hard to get you, so there is a very high cost of acquisition for you, but then there will be some level of status quo or inertia where you will not change your mind often. So you became a new logo, you sign up for me, and then you stay with me for years, and my cost to serve you, it's very, very low. and I will be paying back my CAC, right? So I invest a huge amount of money up front because then that will compound, right? This is not working anymore because you switch solution, you close solution, the CFO is involved in any decision. And if you don't have usage, if you don't have value, if you don't have time to outcome, they don't care. They will be changing, they will be shutting down. And then you said earlier, so think about everyone that is built on top of OpenAI. Then OpenAI is going to the application layer. With one move, it will be killing 20K companies. So to this point, you need really to build value around the customer. And I understand that is a stupid sentence because
This audio was created with podcastle.ai.
the customer. And I understand that is a stupid sentence because it's simplistic, but actually it is what it is. You need, in a difficult world, you need to build a relationship, you need to build value around this customer, and you need to make this customer a revenue multiplier. It's not about product, it's not about a sales method. It's about the value that you build with your customer. So back to the GTM, for the company that has a GTM system, typically the GTM system, it's very transactional or it is built for execution. While you need to build a system that is for execution, but for exploration too. Because you need to incorporate, you need to factor in velocity improvement, you need to factor in fuck ups. Because at the end of the day, today you do 10 things, one will be working. So you need to build on top of this one, but you need to be able also to recover the other 9 that has not worked. So, that's my 2 cents. And I prove that because, just the past year alone, with small companies, I have been able to recover about $31 million in lost revenue, which means that probably, nailing those basics, you get to something.
That's a really good number. So
Oh, yeah.
compliments to you. No, but thank you for the answer. It's really explanatory. Now, due to that, we are almost at the end of the chat, Omar. One last remark. If you had to say just one sentence or something to someone who wants to optimize his GTM according to the time and how it's changing, what would you say?
Well, everyone is just complaining when they talk, peers. They say, oh, my CAC is rising. I need to find a way to keep this down. I think that there will be a lot of things that will not change. So I think that there will be cost, for instance. So the cost of acquiring a customer, it will not go down. I think that it will go up for a lot of reasons. So for this reason, you need a GTM that is really a system, a machine. You need a GTM efficiency, which is very important. And today, every company that I've seen, all of them, they have huge leaks in their GTM. Doesn't matter the size of the company. So probably I will start from plugin leaks, revenue leaks. And furthermore, everyone is thinking that AI will save their ass. I don't think so. AI probably will make more problem. I've just seen a report from Gartner came out today, which is saying that 40% of agentic AI programs will be killed by 2027. 40%. So everything is changing so fast that you need to use AI as a tool where AI is best. And most probably, this is providing efficiency in your GTM research and back office because you need this operational efficiency to fund the best people, the best A player with the best tools managing the front office with your customer, where AI is not the solution. Because if you look today to AI, SDR, and a lot of things, you see most of them, they are just fads. They just go out, not giving real value. People, they are complaining about this. So I think that AI is still more a back office and in-house system to do a lot of things. And then we need to better relationship. Most probably with so much AI, there will be an explosion of real world relationship, face to face approaches, because the authenticity that you are losing when you speak with someone, the first question you have is, are you human or is that in AI, right? Because they look all similar, they look all templated. So I mean, this is what I see today.
That was a really good catch, because this is something I was talking about this with a friend of mine, a VP of sales at a company, a quantum company, and I just said, look, my friend, I think that in a matter of, I don't know, 12 to 14 months, we will go back door to door, meeting face to face people as much as we can, because that's the only way we can create value. So that is a paradigm shift. But as you said, most of the things won't change, and some other will, go back to the old times. Last one, yeah. No, please go ahead.
No, I mean, they will be different. Probably the most value we can have from AI is not for a tech company. It's for an hardware company. I don't know, people, I don't know, they are molding glass or iron, casting iron. I even don't know what they do. But I mean, those companies, they have nothing digital, right? They still use paper, they use hammers, and that's where you can have the real value, plugging some AI inside there. And think about that. I mean, the real world economy is still based on those businesses.
Absolutely. 2% of GDP is, let's say, accounted by tech companies or SaaS or whatever they are. So here we are. Omar, thank you so much. Last one thing, next steps and what you're working on, any exciting project you would like to share with the audience, feel free.
Well, I mean, if someone want to get in touch, they can find me on LinkedIn, Omar Fogliadini. But as I told you, I got many ads. So I'm exiting a company in Europe. I'm currently evaluating some stuff in the United States. So I'm working to become operating partner of a RegTech company, and I'm also looking into marketing companies for financial institutions. So I think that my next step is making a bit of order into this mess, because I need focus. And without focus, we won't be productive. So I'm trying to let's say, reduce the scope, to go deep on some of those opportunities, because everything is changing, and when everything is changing, there will be a lot of opportunity. You just have to be in the right place with the right position, because it's a marathon of sprints, right? So you need to be able to sprint, but still it is a marathon. If you run too fast now, you won't be able to do the next sprint. Now I got too much on my table. I'm just trying to focus, experimenting a lot. So building some education one side, but education that is coming from my day-to-day experience and talks with companies. Probably after the summer, I will be able to have some ads, less ads than the one that I have now.
And so best of luck in saying no to some opportunities, which is probably the most difficult thing to do in life. And really, thank you so much for accepting the invitation, for being here. I think for me, it has been a really enriching conversation, and I'm sure it will be enriching also for my audience. So thank you so much, Omar.
I mean, hopefully. Thank you for having me. And I mean, whatever you need, if we have to share some example or to help someone, let's do it.
Absolutely. Let's jump on another episode soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Take care. I see you.
This audio was created with podcastle.ai.